Like people are still quoting these shows. I mean, okay, best episodes of Seinfeld.
Obviously, for me, the Soup Nazi episode. Sure. I feel like I personally relate to the Soup Nazi because I like things very particular. Basically, the friends, they're trying to get some soup. And that's the tea. That's the tea. They're trying to get some soup. And the Soup Nazi likes things very particular. You have to order your soup a very particular way. And we see what happens when some of the characters do not order soup the right way until the queen, Elaine, through a series of fortunate/unfortunate events, gets the recipes to the Soup Nazi, and it ends with like her screaming in his face, like she's like trying to end his career.
She had the soup recipes. Yeah,
iconic.
Iconic. Elaine dancing, obviously for me, like that always comes up. Just man hands. The naked episode where Jerry's dating a girl and she's like nudist, but then it all gets messed up because she's opening a jar or something.
How about the episode where they all are trying to be the last person to have sex?
No, the last person to masturbate. Yeah. And that was really like iconic because
that's us.
Up until then, it was very hard to get any kind of sexual content on TV, especially like on a sitcom.
Back then.
And so they really pushed the envelope of like, you know, like Larry David, who is the creator of the show with Jerry, like of how much they could get away with still like being under the covers with it.
Yeah.
I guess it is. I will say, like, even just like the soup episode, it is cool that they can make a whole episode about ordering soup.
Yeah.
Like, I have to be honest, that's pretty amazing.
Memorable.
Seinfeld was an epic show. I mean, these people were, we didn't like these characters, okay? They were like, the protagonists were people that we would not get along with.
Realistic.
And then these characters, they transformed TV sitcoms. I mean, the Soup Nazi, like, till today, people are like, they still say, no soup for you.
No soup for you.
So,
why is Seinfeld just only complaining? I think Seinfeld only complains.
Because
that's
a new type
we
of
want to
show.
complain sometimes.
Radically changed the course of our history when Ross said we were on a break. Couples to this day will say that when they go on a break.
Yes.
So they invented toxic relationships?
Yeah, they invented toxic relationships, which is the heartbeat of America. Without a toxic relationship, life is boring.
I mean, but the most iconic toxic relationship was Kramer and Seinfeld. I mean, they hated and loved each other all at the same time. He was a character that you hated. He was annoying. He would mess things up. He was always like,
that was one. We had two. Joey and Phoebe. We had Joey and Phoebe.
But they were all like that.
We had two.
Elaine was like
two
that.
wild cards, Joey and Phoebe. We had the two stable people, Monica and Chandler, who ended up getting together, which was amazing.
They got married.
And then you had the two heartthrobs, I guess, Ross and Rachel, who had this on again, off again.
Wait, can we back it up? The heartthrob Ross?
Yeah.
That's more like the Zoo.
He set the stage for the OC,
scientist?
Seth Cohen. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was the OG Seth Cohen. What are we doing? Smart guys can be hot too, and that's that's amazing. And nobody was doing that.
Look, maybe Seinfeld weren't as hot of people. Okay, maybe they weren't as hot, but
They
maybe
needed to be hot
people.
because they were funny.
They were funny.
Hot? Nobody said they weren't hot.
Yeah, they're hot.
Okay, well, I
Were they
wouldn't
hot?
say
Let's
they were
get
hot.
George.
They were
Was
hot.
I think George pulled in the 90s.
He did pull.
Yeah,
he
did.
Pulled in the
Julia
90s.
Remember when he had sex at his job with the maid? Am I wrong?
Like,
I
cute,
think I'm like
cute,
sure
cute.
you have that, but like Friends to me is like the way that like Phoebe, Monica, Chandler, Joey, Ross, Rachel, like these characters are like cemented in pop culture in a way that is like next level, and it beats the episode about ordering soup. I mean, like,
Give us some
we are all
moments.
trying to get to that moment where Ross is in the bathroom trying to put on his leather pants. TV peaked when Ross couldn't get his leather pants back on, and you know I'm right.
Yes.
Look,
And
TV
nobody can
changed
deny it.
when we were in the cab, and George was finally going to get some, and then the cab runs over a pigeon and kills it. What's the likelihood?
When Monica has to get peed on because she got stung by a jellyfish. I mean,
That's a
the
good one.
comedic timing in that, it just, you can't
When
recreate
Joey
it.
walks in wearing all of Chandler's clothes, nobody can top that moment in TV.
Who laughs?
Wearing
Thinking about a scene, who laughs?
Every single layer of Chandler's clothes. That, to me, you've never seen it before, folks. Never been done before.
Guys, what about having a sandwich during sex? I mean, when does that happen?
Yeah,
Never.
that is pretty cool.
I want
But
to thank
don't
you.
know
I want
about
to thank them for normalizing that moment.
I agree.
Honestly,
Yeah.
because
That is
that has
pretty cool.
changed my life personally.
But I didn't know that. That's not as
What
like
about when
revolutionary.
Kramer? Yeah, you forgot the sex
I didn't
sandwich
know that. I mean,
episode?
that's a cool thing. It's not
really
in the
cool.
zeitgeist the way that
It normalized
Friends
it.
is.
It's definitely in the zeitgeist. Also, you can go, what's the deal with? And everybody already knows you're talking about Seinfeld.
But that's
There's
because of
nothing
Jerry
more kind of-
Seinfeld's comedy career, not because of the show.
No, but the comedy career and his show.
Oh.
What are you guys doing?
Like, will we not have the show
Sorry.
without the comedy
Like,
career?
the episode where like Phoebe is trying to seduce Chandler,
Oh
and
my
then like
God.
because it is also just so fun. All of the like they don't know that they're dating, and we don't know that they know. Like I just live for that. That's like what
Yeah.
sitcoms are all
Yeah.
about, where it's like, oh, he doesn't know, and then
Tension.
she's like trying to like seduce him, and it's so good. And like I will say, Ross becomes more in like later seasons. Ross becomes more of like a caricature and like a sketch actor in some ways.
yes.
He like
Leather
in the beginning
pants.
Yeah.
seasons,
Oh my
he's
God.
like very kind of like more grounded and like not as like goofy, but then he
Yeah.
like turns into this like the leather pants, obviously.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, leather pants are like cool, and they were like,
Yeah.
you have to wear leather pants.
And
to be
then
like,
so he
cool.
needs to take a break from cuddling because he gets too hot and he goes to the bathroom. He takes his pants off for some reason to like cool down. And then he calls Joey and he's like, I need
him back
help.
on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
he
he can't get him back on.
And then
Because
yeah.
the pants have either
They-
shrunk
wasn't
or
there
he's
powder or
expanded.
something?
Yes,
Yeah.
there's lotion, there's powder.
And Joey's like stupid and he's like, yeah, try powder. Like, yeah, try the lotion.
And like Ross, I feel like the other thing too, I don't know if like you guys remember this episode,
Yeah.
but like seeing Ross deal with, there's just like a little moment where he like, I forget like which actually episode it is, but he is like opens his suitcase and then it's like there's shampoo everywhere, and it's just
yeah.
him being like shampoo explosion. I don't know if I'm
he
allowed
was
to say
just
that.
he's
Like
just
he was always dealing
panic,
with like
yeah.
and then
or the one they're like stayed at that hotel and
Mhm.
they like wanted to make it worth their money. So they like stole a bunch of like
many
like
things.
mini
Yeah.
stuff,
Yeah.
like sheets.
Yes.
And then they're almost out of there. They like almost got away with it. And he sees this bowl of pine cones. And
he's
they're like,
had to have
leave
it.
the pine
Yeah.
cones.
Well, and
like we
the-
can get
leave
that
that.
outside. And he's
Yeah.
like, no, I have to. And then
the
their
other
bags
thing
explode
too
everywhere.
about Friends that's better than Seinfeld in many ways is like there's storylines that like you follow. Whereas like Seinfeld, I feel like I've watched like, you know, Seinfeld, and there's like, I was telling you guys, there's like an episode where Jerry buys a really expensive coat and he loves
Yeah.
it. But then it's like you never see that coat again. Whereas like with Ross and Rachel, obviously the saga.
You don't
of,
care
like,
about a standalone.
and then Chandler and
Yeah.
Monica, like their dynamic. It's like it's so you're so in it,
It
you're
builds
engaged,
nostalgia,
and it's
yeah.
like weird, it's crazy, it's funny. Phoebe's like, you know, brother, Phoebe's like twin sister. But like all
Ursula.
all of these characters are
Yeah.
kind of like,
That's funny.
and it's like building. And I'm more like that is the world I want to
I
live
don't
in.
like the building,
Mm.
actually. I think
Right.
that Seinfeld is good because anybody could watch it. Like, I can't just like turn on a regular
No, yes, you
random
can.
episode of Friends and like get into it. But Seinfeld, like, for example, the soup episode, like I could just turn that on and like kind of figure out the
beginning,
dynamics
middle, end.
and understand the story.
And,
but
like,
with
zone
Friends,
out.
there's so much lore. There's so many seasons.
That's part of
It's
it.
so long that with Seinfeld,
It's not
I
that
can
long.
get the series is a long
Oh,
series.
yeah.
seasons.
With Seinfeld, I can kind of like pick in season 2, pick here, season 7, and like still have the same amount of fun. But
Right,
with
because you're
Friends,
mentally stable.
I don't want to.
Yeah, I'm like,
I don't want to feel confused. when I
really
watch.
depressed girls want the night.
Yeah,
How
they
many
need-
seasons?
Depressed
I
Nine
want that.
seasons?
I want to know what they're
And,
doing.
like,
Like, even now, I'm
22
like, where are they? Yeah.
22 episodes per season.
Yeah, me too. I need that. Also, okay,
like
let's
Gilmore
just
Girls.
blur out
Yeah.
like some iconic moments. The break. We were on a break.
So there was also the one where Ross's ex got married to a woman.
lesbian.
Right.
Fun.
And if I'm not mistaken, it is the first primetime lesbian wedding.
Is
which
it?
is-
Was
yeah.
there not an
I
Ellen
would
wedding?
not
No,
know.
Ellen came out 2 years after that episode aired.
Wow.
And then it like really gave, and then I think Will and Grace also
I could have
came
chills.
out.
Iconic.
'Cause they had that
That's-
little baby too together, Ben.
Yeah, Ben. Well, I think
Wait,
also
how do I remember that?
Ross, there was a lot of really cool wedding stuff going on with Ross.
Yeah, let's go through it. Let's go through it.
I mean, then there's the amazing scene where Ross is getting married to Emily, which I hated Emily. I feel bad saying that, but you know,
Wait, why do you
Emily.
feel bad saying
well,
that?
because yeah, I just feel bad.
You were supposed to hate her. That's
yeah,
how they wrote her.
and
She's
like they
annoying.
wrote
Yeah,
her
she's
annoying.
not
And it made
Rachel.
me kind of be like, British people are always going to try to steal your man. But Ross says Rachel's name at that wedding, which is like, that is perfect TV.
forgot
You
that.
cannot
That makes
write
sense.
a more incredible, and the reason why it's also so perfect is because of, and which you hate, the lore, but like the buildup of Ross and Rachel. And like, I think that the buildup of Ross and Rachel, I don't think we've ever seen anything like that before. And that is now, that's like the model now for like New Girl, The Office. Like
Right.
there's all that like relationship tension and buildup. And I feel like Friends, I don't know, this is like maybe conjecture, but I feel like they were the first sitcom to really do that, to really build this like
No,
storyline
because there was
of like,
a little bit of like, will they, won't they? within Seinfeld as well. And also, like,
Not really.
Every sitcom was about a guy, a girl. There's tension. There, like, this was finally something not about that.